covering all your local high school football games with highlights and scores. Now, Football Friday, brought to you by Alabama Credit Union.
And good evening, everybody. I'm Gary Harris. Welcome into Week 2 of WVUA 23's Football Friday. It's our third show of the season after Week 0 and Week 1 shows. Remember that Week 0 kind of throws everybody off. But this is Week 2 of the season, Week 3 of Football Friday. Football Friday is presented by Alabama Credit Union. Visit alabamacu.com to learn more. Alabama Credit Union, loans for real life. Well, Football Friday is a 1 hour again this year, and we have highlights from 15 high school football games for you this evening, plus our complete Bank First Football Friday High School Scoreboard, our Football Friday Band of the Week, our premier service company Outside the Huddle feature, and much, much more. And we begin with our DCH Game of the Week.
Now, the Game of the Week, brought to you by DCH.
6A Region 4 opener, Central at Paul Bryant. New head coaches John McKenzie for the Stampede and Demario Pippin of the Falcons, both doing a good job in their respective first seasons. Bryant's first drive of the game. Play action on the goal line. Quarterback Edwin Merriweather finds receiver Miles Madden wide open in the back of the end zone. Stampede take the lead 7-0. This was a good game. However, next drive, Bryant's backed up on its own goal line. Merriweather tries to step up in the pocket, but he is stripped of the ball, and Farron Dancy will fall on it for the end zone. Falcons tie in the end zone. Falcons tied up 7-7. Then their great quarterback, David McNeil. Man, this kid's got an arm on him. He finds Jalen Powell behind the defense for an easy 6. That made it 14-7. Central leads. 4th and goal. The Stampede going for it. Merriweather pitches it to James Freeman, who ties it up at 14. This was a heck of a ball game. 14-14. Tied again at 21. Central took a 28-21 lead. And then the Falcons go on to win it tonight. A good ball game. Central pulls away late. 42-27. The Falcons move to 2-1 on the season, 1-0 in the region. Paul Bryant drops to 1-2, 0-1 in the region. That is our game of the week. All right, let's keep it moving, though, because we have a lot of other games to get to, including 6A Region 4 opener, Northridge at Hillcrest. Hillcrest has looked like a juggernaut first 2 weeks that continued tonight in the region opener. Hillcrest already up 27-3 when Bryson Kimbrough finds DeCorian Thomas. And then the Patriots punch it in with Kimbrough calling his own number. It's starting to get away from Northridge in this one. And here is more of Kimbrough as he is going, he is going to be special. Breaks several tackles on his way to the end zone. Halftime, Hillcrest up 41-3. Patriots receive the ball to start the third quarter, and they march right down the field. Christian Ritchie takes the handoff. He finds pay dirt from 4 yards out. Hillcrest rolls. I'm telling you now, they've had 3 games, and they've beaten 3 teams in blowout fashion, including Northridge tonight. 48-3, the final score. All right, another 6A Region 4 opener. Hueytown at Brookwood. Brookwood losing last week on its first game on its brand new football field. Tonight, the Golden Gophers put this one away early. Jabron Ellington scores the first touchdown in the first quarter. Then it's Shaquille Rouser making it 14-0 Golden Gophers. TJ Hale then runs into a massive pile but pops through it for a touchdown. Brookwood trying to get something going, but Perry Thompson is there for the pick, and that sets up another Ellington touchdown. 35-0 Hueytown at the half, and the Golden Gophers go on to take care of the Panthers tonight in dominating fashion. 49-0 is the final, so Brookwood a tough night tonight in its region opener. 7A Region 3, Tuscaloosa County High School hosting Chelsea. Chelsea in the first quarter, running back Emerson Russell gets it down to the 1 yard line, and then Russell will score, and Chelsea goes on top in this Class 7A Region 3 opener. But the Wildcats would respond. Quarterback Braden Smith, beautiful deep ball. He put the touch in the air under that one. And County High will get the touchdown, and they are back in this game 7-7. And then Kevin Riley, who is a great player, got a touchdown, and then the Wildcats just kind of keep it going here as they're on the move. Of course, Riley is committed to the University of Miami, and it's all Wildcats as they storm back tonight to win it. 42-21 is the final. Big win for the Wildcats. They moved to 3-0 on the season and 1-0 on the region. Now, the schedule is going to get tougher, but still 3-0 is 3-0 any way you slice it. Staying in 7A Region 3, and this was a showdown tonight over in Alabaster. Thompson, of course, the powerhouse of powerhouses, but Vestavia really good this year. First quarter, Thompson quarterback Trent Seaborn, who's going to have offers from all over the country, but he's picked off John Mayhall. Seaborn threw 3 interceptions in the game. That Vestavia defense is the real deal. John Paul Head, he's the real deal. Quarterback, he drops back, but it is tipped and picked off by Jaden Davis. The Warriors in business. And then Seaborn, we told you about the 3 interceptions, but he also can throw touchdowns. How about as he looks it off to the left, then right into your living room. Our Stu McCann with a great visual there. Colbin Landrew catches it, 38-yard touchdown. Warriors on top 7-0. Second quarter. This is a big play. Vestavia inside the red zone. John Paul Head takes the handoff on 4th and 1, but the Thompson defense gets the stop. Oh my gosh. That might have been a game-changing play for Vestavia, but Thompson led 7-0 at the half, and then in the fourth quarter, the Warriors put it away. Seaborn, the fingertip grab by Colbin Landrew, 18 yards, touchdown. Thompson scores 2 touchdowns in the fourth. And indeed, the Warriors put it away, and they're still the team to beat. Listen, until somebody knocks them off, they're the team to beat in Class 7A Region 3. I can promise you that. Thompson gets the win tonight, 21-3. All right, we had hoped to get you some highlights of the showdown tonight for bragging rights over in Hoover, between Hoover and Spain Park in that 7A Region 3 opener. We have not gotten the highlights in yet. We are still efforting those highlights, so if we're able to get them, we will bring them to you later on in the show. That game just ended here just a few minutes ago. We can show you the final, though, and tell you that it is indeed Hoover getting the win tonight in a bragging rights special, and also not just for bragging rights, but a big region game in 7A Region 3, but Hoover gets the win. The Bucks take down the Jaguars of Spain Park, 28-20 at Spain Park. Good game. We are hoping to get highlights on before the show is over, but we did want to go ahead and give you that final score because we're just kicking it into high gear here on Football Friday. Still to come, we'll break down tomorrow night's college football showdown between number 3 Alabama and number 11 Texas. But first, more high school football, the Class 2A Region 5 opener between Tuscaloosa Academy and Aliceville. Highlights when we return to WVUA 23's Football Friday presented by Alabama Credit Union.
Welcome to WVUA Football Friday on WVUA 23.
And all of our cheerleaders are brought to you by Pool and Patio Center. Welcome back into Football Friday on WVUA 23. I'm Gary Harris. Let's keep the action going. 2A Region 5 opener tonight. Big game. Tuscaloosa Academy hosting Aliceville. TA down 15-0 at the start of the second quarter, but they come back. Preston Lancaster with a strike to Mills Powell, who brings it in after going up to get it, tips it to himself, and that's a touchdown. Beautiful catch right there. After a change of possession, the Knights are on the move again, and they punch it in with the 1-yard quarterback sneak by Lancaster. So this is a 1-point game all of a sudden, and Lancaster keeps it going. On the move here. This is a great, great athletic play right here. On the move, gets it up and out to Nicholas Evans, and Evans, he's elusive. That's a touchdown. What a ball game tonight as we check out the final in a huge game tonight at Tuscaloosa Academy, and TA gets the win. I'm telling you something now, that's a big win because Aliceville is good. That's also head coach Josh Wright's 150th career victory, and it's one of the bigger ones he's had because that is against a good team in the region, and TA gets off to a 1-0 start in the region. The Yellow Jackets have lost a couple of games, but I'm telling you something, they're a good team. 4A Region 3, Holt traveling over to American Christian Academy. Obviously, Brian Newton, the former ACA assistant, has got a rebuilding job at Holt, and he knew that coming in, and he saw it tonight. Holt trying to get something going early, but they fumble it, and Caleb Morrison is there to scoop it up and he's going to take it back to the house for the first score of the game. The first of many, quite honestly, for ACA as the Ironmen were a little overmatched here. The Patriots again on 4th and 1. They go for it. They convert it. Jackson-Willingham gets the first down, and then they cash it in. Kai Young to Davis Dare. Dare's got a lot of colleges interested in him. You see why as he goes up and gets it right there to make it 14-0. And ACA goes on to cruise tonight by the final score of 55-7 in that region opener. More 4A Region 3. Hale County hosting Montevallo this evening. The Wildcats on offense to start the game, and on the first play from scrimmage, they throw a little flea flicker here. And it works. Way to draw it up, Coach. Antoine Zinnerman to TJ Hatch, and that's a touchdown for the Wildcats. Wildcats up 6-0 after a missed PAT. Bulldogs with fumble on the ensuing drive, setting up this throw. And this play for Arias Hamilton. And Wildcats are looking good as they get the touchdown. 14-point lead midway through the first quarter. So there is the touchdown. These highlights are a little bit off, but you see the touchdown there. But it was Montevallo that, tell you something, the Bulldogs did not go away. And as we check out the final, you're going to see that it was Montevallo coming from behind. They got down early, but they come back. The Bulldogs get the win over the Wildcats in region play, 33-21, the final. 1A Region 5 opener, Sumiton Christian at Pickens County. The Tornadoes, one of the best 1A programs in the state, and they flex their muscles tonight. Early in the first, Antonio Jones on the receiving end of this punt. And it looks like Sumiton's got him bottled up there because it looked like they did. They did until they didn't. That's what you call just a great athletic ability. Jones escapes and takes it all the way for the touchdown. Later in the first quarter, Corbett Somerville, direct snap. He punches it in. Already the Tornadoes are up 22-0. Then in the second quarter, Caleb Hill gets the toss, and, well, he gets the edge. He's just too fast for everybody. And then he shows he's got power, too, as he has a little stutter step, and then he's gone. How about that? 48-0 at the half, and Pickens County could have named their score, but they called off the Dogs a little bit in this one, but still the Tornadoes get the win. 56-0, the final score tonight there in Reform. And still to come tonight, our complete Bank First Football Friday scoreboard, but first more highlights, including Russ Probst trying to pick up his first win as the head coach of the Pell City Panthers. They played host to Clay-Chalkville tonight, and we've got the highlights when Football Friday returns right after these messages on WVUA 23.
Hi, we're the Brookwood High School cheerleaders, and you're watching Football Friday on WVUA 23. Let's go!
And welcome back to Football Friday on WVUA 23. I'm Gary Harris. Let's keep it going now with more high school highlights. We're going to take you to Carrollton for AISA AA Region 2 action between Pickens Academy and they're hosting Patrician Academy. Big story of the game, tight end Jay Lindsay, the Alabama commit, and he shows you why. 50-yard touchdown right there. I mean, this kid is really, really good. And then here, watch him go up and snag it with one hand. I'm telling you, I love this guy. And he's down the sidelines. Nobody is going to catch him. 60 yards. The Saints were just getting started against the Pirates tonight there in Carrollton. Patrician wide receiver Lee McBride gets in on the scoring. As he breaks 3 tackles and shows some power, tell you what, it's a big man right there. Kind of reminds me of an old NFL-style fullback. Pickens Academy had no answer for the Saints. As we check out the final score, look at Mr. Lindsay doing his thing again. That's why he's committed to Alabama. 34-8, the final. The Patrician Academy Saints come up from Butler, Alabama, down in Choctaw County tonight to Pickens County and beat the Pirates in a big one tonight in Carrollton. All right, 6A Region 6, Clay-Chalkville at Pell City. There's the legendary head coach, Russ Probst. And he's watching his team try to get their first win as they had, I'll be honest with you, had chances to win their first 2 games. They came very close against Moody and Leeds, but not so much tonight against Clay-Chalkville, because Clay-Chalkville just had too many athletes for Pell City. 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns. And Mbakwe, the Alabama commit, who they project him as a defensive back, but as you can see, he's pretty good on offense too. Mbakwe just way too much. And Clay-Chalkville tonight, as they lay it on Pell City, so Rush Probst will have to wait at least 1 more week. My gosh, look at these highlights. As Clay-Chalkville gets it 39-0 over Pell City is the final in that game. And Rush Probst 0-3 tonight. They just played a team that was a lot better than them. But again, Pell City the first 2 weeks came very close against Moody and came very close against Leeds. Not so close tonight. 5A Region 5, Pleasant Grove at Wenonah. The Dragons taking the field in this one. And in the second quarter, Eric Hanley for Pleasant Grove finds Clarence Taylor for the touchdown. It's 7-0 in the first quarter. In the third quarter, it's more Pleasant Grove. Jordan Smith keeps his feet, runs over a defender, and powers it into the end zone. 14-0 with 3:01 left in the second quarter. Oh, that's actually the second quarter, not the third. Here's Wenonah looking to respond. Anthony Young takes the ball and looks for a receiver, decides to take it himself, and he gets the touchdown as the halftime buzzer expires to make it 14-7 at the half. But as we check out the final, we can tell you that it was Pleasant Grove getting the road win tonight by the score of 45-21. All right, we got some Thursday night action. Class 6A Region 5, Parker at Jackson-Olin. And Parker is one of the better teams in the state, and the Thundering Herd wasted no time in this one. Already up 7-0. Martavius Purnell for a first down, 17-yard pickup. Then it's the big man, Jordan Crawford, getting it into the end zone, 14-0 Thundering Herd. The Mustangs trying to come back in this one. They go for it on 4th and down, but Jeremiah Beeman, the Alabama commit, with the big tackle behind the line. And then Malik Muhammad scrambles out of the pocket and runs for a 15-yard gain. And now inside the 10, it's Muhammad with the fade to Kentrell Davis. He manages to get his feet in, makes it 21-0. Jackson-Olin trying one more time at the Parker 40. Marquavius Davis has the ball knocked out, and it's Jordan Crawford who scoops it up. And look at the 285-pounder move. I mean, look at that man go. Big man touchdown. Parker, Thundering Herd, wins it easy on Thursday night as we check out the final, 49-6. More Thursday night action. Chris Smelly, the former American Christian Academy coach, and the Sylacauga Aggies hosting Elmore County, 5A Region 4. Elmore County, as Sylacauga didn't win a game last year, so it's a rebuilding job for Smelly. And Elmore County showed coach he's still got some rebuilding to do. Ryan McNeely launches it to Christian Everson, who goes up and gets it. Then it's the jet sweep to Everson. Is it a run? No, it's a pass. Jabari Murphy wide open, out to practice early, as Coach Bryant used to say. For 6, Elmore is rolling. McNeely throws the quick screen to Everson, and he just runs past the defense. And Sylacauga trying to get something going for Coach Smelly. C.J. Franklin is going to drop back, and that's a pretty throw. There's a touchdown to Quindavius Swain in the end zone, but way too much Elmore County on Thursday night as they win by the final score of 35-7. Elmore County over Sylacauga on Thursday. Well, that's it for most of our highlights, unless we get those Hoover highlights in. If we do, we'll still bring them to you. But if we don't, we're going to keep rolling on anyway. Still to come, our Game of the Week analysis with Bama Central's Joe Gaither. And up next, our complete Football Friday Bank First Scoreboard. That's straight ahead on WVUA 23's Football Friday. We'll be right back.
Like buddies, whatever. I walked him across the street. And I got into a car. But like, put it up to his car. Guess I should put this back.
The Hale County High School Marching Band, they're our Band of the Week. And welcome back to Football Friday on WVUA 23, presented by Alabama Credit Union. It's time now to check in on all the scores from across our viewing area. So we're going to make way to the Bank First scoreboard. Bank First, putting customers first. All right, let's run through them for you tonight here in Alabama. It was Holy Spirit going on the road to Hubbardville, and the Saints come up short tonight, 28-12. Bibb County with a big win over a good West Blockton team, 34-13, the final in that one. Lamar County at home tonight, too much for Greene County, 40-0, and that's a popular score, I guess. Demopolis goes to Selmas, and Demopolis to Selma. Easy for me to say. 40-0, the Tigers under Lance Tucker, the first-year head coach, former Alabama quarterback, gets the win. Fayette County at Tarrant tonight, and the Tigers roll 34-0. Sumter Central gets a win tonight at home over in York over Greensboro. Tough year so far for Greensboro, 26-14, the final in that game. It was Oak Grove over Northside, 16-7. The Rams fall on the road, and South Lamar at home, too much for Berry out of Fayette, 42-6, the final in that game. It was Lowndes Academy winning down in Greensboro over Southern Academy, 29-0, while Selligent took care of Cold Springs tonight. Cold Springs was certainly cold. Couldn't get it going offensively. They lose 49-8. Linden over Keith, 44-12, and Corner took care of Hamilton in decisive fashion, 53-6. It was Haleyville winning at Cordova, 36-21, and Dora all over Curry, 61-14, the final. Carbon Hill falls at Winston County, 63-28. And Shades Valley at home tonight. Sam Adams, the former Hillcrest head coach, and Oxford, they got a really good team this year. The Yellow Jackets take care of Shades Valley tonight in that one. Hewitt-Trussville goes to Oak Mountain and picks up a big win. The Huskies roll 42-7. Helena wins at Homewood, 31-17, the final. It was Bessemer City over McAdory, 48-21. That's a little bit of a surprise to me, to be honest with you. And Centerpoint blanks Huffman, 58-0. Madison Academy downs J.B. Pennington, 26-21. And it was a Thursday night game with Sweetwater taking care of University Charter out of Livingston, 31-6. Well, that's the Bank First scoreboard, but we aren't done with high school football, because when we return, Bama Central's Joe Gaither will join me for high school football analysis, including an in-depth look at our game of the week between Paul Bryant and Central and their first-year head coaches, John McKenzie and Demario Pippin. That's straight ahead on WVUA 23's Football Friday.
Hi, we're the Hueytown cheerleaders, and you're watching Football Friday on WVUA 23.
And welcome back to Football Friday, presented by Alabama Credit Union. I'm Gary Harris, joined now by our high school football analyst, Joe Gaither from Bama Central. I double-checked that Bessemer City score. And indeed, Bessemer City knocked off McAdory. That's a big win for the Purple Tigers.
Absolutely. And now, Class 6A Region 4 is looking very, very interesting.
It really is. And that's where we're going to go tonight with our high school game of the week between Central and Paul Bryant. We showed you the highlights earlier, but first-year head coaches John McKenzie at Bryant and Demario Pippin at Central have made an impact. Both these teams came in 1-1 and big wins last week, and then this region opener was exciting, entertaining, and wasn't really decided until the fourth quarter. But Pippin and Central pick up a huge win tonight to get to 1-0 in the region over a very game Paul Bryant team.
Oh, absolutely. Bryant hung in there, and really you could tell both first-year head coaches had their teams coached much better than they've been coached in the past. I was very impressed with Bryant and their organization, but Central, their power up front, they were able to run the ball towards into the second half, and then obviously a defensive touchdown in the first half was very strong, and that obviously made the difference.
42-27 the final, and I continue to be impressed. And this is the second time that Central's been on our Game of the Week, so it's the second time you've seen him in person by their quarterback, David McNeil.
He is a little ball player. He's a dual-threat athlete. He gets out there on the edge and runs and has just enough passing ability to be a threat down the field. So you got to respect him, and you have to be on your toes when you're defending a dual-threat quarterback.
We saw Central almost knock off County High in the opener. They went to Woodline and won big. This 6A Region 4 is a very competitive region, as you already alluded to, and it looks like, and we'll get to Hillcrest in a moment, it looks like they are the team to beat. But do you think Central can make some noise in this region and certainly be one of those 4 teams that makes it to the playoffs?
Oh, absolutely, Gary. And if you've looked ahead at Central's schedule, they could be 5-1 when they host Hillcrest right there on 15th Street. So that could make for a third time on the WVUA Game of the Week.
All right, let's touch on Hillcrest. 3 games, 2 on the road, home opener tonight, 3 blowouts, and they just absolutely destroyed Northridge tonight.
Yeah, Northridge, usually one of the strong teams in the area, not really holding up there against Hillcrest. Patriot Parkway, they have just turned into, the last 3 years, a great power, and they're going to make noise in 6A.
And I'm sure Hillcrest will be involved in one of our Game of the Weeks coming up soon. Thank you, Joe.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, when we return, our award-winning Outside the Huddle feature, that's coming up next. When Football Friday continues, please stay with us. And we're back on Football Friday here on WVUA 23, presented by Alabama Credit Union. It's time now for our award-winning Outside the Huddle feature, presented by Premier Service Company. Premier Service Company has the power to keep you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. And it's an encore presentation of a past Outside the Huddle feature. Darrell Furman was a tough-nosed, hard-hitting walk-on linebacker from Gadsden at the University of Alabama in the mid to late 1980s. Derek Thomas gave Furman the nickname the Bull, and his determination earned respect from his coaches and teammates alike, and it's also motivated him to make a difference in life, particularly motivated by the devastating events of April 27, 2011. In that tornado, Darrell Furman made some life-changing decisions. Here's Stu McCann.
Adversity has a way of changing things, both visually and internally.
Get in your safe place right now. We have a tornado on the ground, so we have an emergency situation. This tornado is now on the ground. It looks like it's a now sizable tornado. We're watching live from our Tuscaloosa tower camera.
Former Alabama football linebacker Darrell Furman felt called to action, and as you would expect from a player whose teammates nicknamed him Bull, he was determined to find a way to make a difference.
Out of something so tragic, there had to be something that had to come out of this, and it was meant to come out of this. And I got hit with an instant message from a former UAB football player named Byron Devine. He said, "Hey, Bull, what do you think about a basketball game between Alabama, Auburn, and UAB?" I said, "LOL, Byron, we're football players. Let's play a football." $150,000. The Governor's Emergency Relief Fund, yeah.
It didn't stop after the game, and it's no longer helping only the victims of the April 27th disaster. What began as a high school coach feeling called toward the tornado relief efforts grew into a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping former military veterans in need. One lesson that Furman took away from his Tide head coach Ray Perkins: never give up.
I'm sitting with Coach Perkins, we're having breakfast, and I'm telling him about Autographs for Heroes. I'll never forget, I said, Coach, we've given over 250 footballs since, 2012. And he's like, puts his fork down, he's eating his scrambled eggs, and said, "Well, why aren't you giving 250,000? I'm like, "Coach, that costs money." He said, "Well, I guess you better get busy."
Furman's team, the Letterman of the USA, is still chasing the 250,000 number. Since 2012, its Autographs for Heroes program has delivered 450 footballs to military veterans. The group has given one in all 50 states. It's not just footballs, and it's not just autographs. Letterman of the USA has 6 programs, all of them created and titled with military heroes in mind.
And Interiors for Heroes takes the worst of these folks who've been homeless through the Salvation Army, and then once they get through this program, we get them, and they get an apartment that usually has nothing in it. And we come and we outfit it with everything they need.
Absolutely nothing but an echo. It was barren. There was nothing in here. And then they showed up and showed out.
Furman and the Letterman put in the work over Labor Day weekend, furnishing Murdoch's new apartment. It was the good ending that seemed unlikely just 1 month earlier when Murdoch had moved to Tuscaloosa.
Well, I was misinformed and told that I had a bed. There was a bed available for me in the treatment program. And when I got here, that wasn't the case. And so the VA sent me to the Salvation Army so I wouldn't be on the street.
After a few weeks, the VA hospital helped them find an apartment. The Letterman of the USA did the rest.
Everything has got to be their way, and it's got to be right. In the military, it comes down to rolling socks. And if your socks aren't rolled properly, that's a problem. And these people are like the same way. Turn that table just a little bit this way. Ah, yeah, that's it. I'm like, wow.
Darryl Furman calls it a miracle that the 2012 charity flag football game even came together. Military veterans like Carl Murdoch would probably tell you the Letterman's acts are just as much of a divine blessing.
And like I keep saying this, but these people are volunteering. They're doing this for free. They did this for me for nothing.
Gives me chill bumps, I can tell you that. Coming up, as Alabama and Texas get ready to square off, Drew Pavon goes behind enemy lines with Eric Henry from Horns 247. And our Recruiting Tales segment with Rodney Orr will feature the unusual recruiting story of linebacker Tamiko Ryan, who is now the head coach of the NFL's Houston Texans, and how he almost didn't get a scholarship offer from the Crimson Tide. That's coming up.
Hey, we're the Tuscaloosa County cheerleaders, and you're watching Football Friday on WVUA 23.
Tamiko Ryan was a guy, I saw him play as a junior in high school, and I thought, man, that guy looks really good. And didn't think much more about him. He wasn't a guy that was on anyone's radar. And then the next year when he was a senior late in the season, I talked to Coach Higginbotham at Tuscaloosa County High, and he said, look, he said, there's a guy that plays linebacker for Jess Lanier. When you get an opportunity, you need to look at the guy. He's number 32. I don't remember his name, but he's really good. And I knew when Coach Higg said that this guy's really good, and I needed to check him out because Coach Higg, I think, is one of the great all-time high school coaches in Alabama history for sure. Great talent evaluator. So that Friday night, I watched him play against Hillcrest, and he made 27 tackles. So the following week at Coach Fran's weekly press conference, I think he held it on Tuesdays at that time, I wrote down on a piece of paper, Tamiko Ryan's, 6'2", 220 pounds, Jess Lanier High School, Bessemer. You need to look at this guy. So when Coach Fran finishes his press conference, he's walking off the podium, he's headed towards the door. I said, Coach Fran, I've got something for you. I handed him that piece of paper. I said, Coach, you need to read that. So he walks out, he leaves. A few minutes later, I'm interviewing a player, and I hear him stick his head back in the door and call me out in the hallway. And he says, Rodney, he says, Tamiko Ryan's 6'2", 220. Are you sure about that size? And I said, yeah, Coach, why? And he said, well, we've got him listed at 5'11", 195. And I said, no, Coach, he's 6'2", 220. That weekend, I'm in Bryant Museum here. I bump into Tamiko Ryan's. He's on an unofficial visit. He tells me the Alabama coaches had contacted him that week. And later he was offered a scholarship, committed 2 months later on his official visit to Alabama.
Yep, and the rest is history. All-American at Alabama, 10-year NFL Pro Bowler, and now the head coach of the Houston Texans. I would say that was a pretty good job by Rodney, turning Coach Fran and Alabama on to Tamiko Ryan's. All right, with Alabama having this big early season showdown tomorrow night, number 3 Alabama taking on number 11 Texas at Bryant Stadium. As always, we want to get the other side, get the perspective from the Texas side, and that's going to go to Drew Pavon, who visits with Eric Henry, the beat writer for Horns 247. Here is our Behind the Enemy Line segment.
Well, it might just be another college football Saturday for 49 other states. Here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, it's the potential college football game of the year. Number 11 Texas versus number 3 Alabama. But for the Longhorns, Eric Henry of Horns247.com says head coach Steve Sarkisian's offense can't afford to open flat once it's time for kickoff.
They can't afford a first quarter the way they did against Rice. Historically, or at least over the past year and a half of his tenure at Texas, they have not been able to convert those type of scenarios. 3rd and short, 4th and short. If you're going to have that type of momentum shift, it's one thing to do that at home against an inferior opponent against Rice. It's another thing to try and do that on the road in Bryant-Denny Stadium.
If the Longhorns want to walk out of Bryant-Denny Stadium with a win on Saturday, Henry says the Texas defense will need to repeat their performance from last week.
If they can get the kind of performance, I understand Rice is not Alabama, but if they can get the kind of push and create kind of havoc and disruption that they had against Rice, they'll be able to at least operate with the front 4 and maybe not have to utilize some of their linebackers to just account for Jalen Milroe. So I think that's super interesting from the defensive side of things.
While Henry thinks Texas is one of the nation's top teams, he still expects the Tide to roll on Saturday due to how early in the year this matchup is scheduled.
I'm expecting something in the realm of, 24-17 or even 21-17, 21-14. But at the end of the day, as I said to you, I just don't think, and that's not to say that the things that Texas needs to improve on, they can't improve on. I just can't see the struggles. I think offensively, Steve Sarkisian will have a very creative game plan, something that keeps them in the game. But as far as the actual execution, again, maybe if this game were being played week 9 or week 10, maybe Texas would have a better outcome, but I just don't see those things getting fixed in a week. So I do think that Alabama will win this game.
And thank you, guys. Coming up, Rennell Foreman will take you around the SEC. And also, Tuscaloosa is certainly the place to be this weekend. Everybody, that's anybody in college football, is here. We'll show you everything that's going on when we return to Football Friday. Let's check out the scene this afternoon on the University of Alabama campus. It's wide open, folks. Tuscaloosa is the place to be this weekend for college football. All the shows are here. ESPN College Game Day with Joe Namath as the guest picker. The SEC Network is on campus with all of its shows. Pat McAfee Show. Barstool Sports is here. Basically anybody that's got a college football YouTube show or podcast or radio show, even if they don't have credentials for the game, they're on campus, not to mention the thousands and thousands of fans that are here. They've descended on T-Town for the matchup between number 3 Alabama and number 11 Texas. Kickoff is set for 6 o'clock tomorrow night on ESPN. And welcome back into Football Friday. I'm Gary Harris. So indeed, Alabama hosts Texas tomorrow night, and Nick Saban wants those Crimson Tide fans to show up and show out, because he believes that that type of positive atmosphere, loud and proud, can impact the game.
Atmosphere and environment in this game, fans, their energy and enthusiasm really can have an impact on a game like this. You impact the offense, their ability to check, their ability to communicate, sometimes get the snap count right. So I think the fans being in this game can, create not only positive energy for our team, which we certainly appreciate, and I know the players appreciate, but also make it more difficult for the other team to operate, when they have the ball. So I think, that energy and enthusiasm is really important too.
There will be plenty of intriguing action on the field Saturday night, that's for sure, but on the sidelines as well. Head coach Nick Saban will be facing off against yet another one of his former assistants and Longhorns head coach Steve Sarkisian. Here's Sark now, what he learned from Coach Saban.
If you really go into the situations that you have as an assistant coach, and you're really willing to learn, and you're really willing to evolve, and you're really willing to make necessary adjustments to your coaching style, you can grow. And I would be remiss to say that I didn't. I mean, I grew at my time at Alabama. I became a better coach. I became a better leader. I became a better communicator. I became a better organizer. And that is a real tribute to Coach Saban, directly and indirectly, some of which was real conversations that we were able to have. Other of it was just me watching.
All right, can't wait for that game tomorrow night. Let's check in now on the rest of the conference as Ronell Foreman takes us around the SEC.
New season, new rules. Outspoken head coach Lane Kiffin is very upset about the new rules that inhibit his team. The new rules state that the clock will not stop running until the last 2 minutes of the first or second half.
So I just don't understand it. Like, people pay to see, they sit down with the family to watch a game, they pay for tickets to go to a game, and we're going to shorten it. I mean, it's not like it was broke, and there are a lot of problems that need to be fixed in the world around college football and running the clock so that a game's quicker. I don't get it. You go to a country concert and want to have them sing 2 less songs, or your favorite concert? No. Well, why do you want a game to be shorter?
Will this having an effect on the Ole Miss Rebels when they go on the road to take on the Tulane Green Wave? Over in Auburn, quarterback Peyton Thorne is looking forward to reuniting with his former high school teammate Sam Jackson, the starting quarterback for their opponent Saturday, the Gal Golden Bears. According to Thorne, Jackson is one of his absolute best friends. Back in high school, the pair played for Naperville Central near Chicago. Thorne, who was the starter at the time, took the younger QB under his wing, and they've been close since. Now both will get to play each other in Division I football. North Carolina dismantled the South Carolina Gamecocks in the Duke Mayo's Classic last weekend, and some think former Alabama quarterback Freddie Kitchens, who was an analyst at USC last season, was tipping off the UNC defense. Gamecock quarterback Spencer Rattler was sacked 9 times in the game, and Kitchens, who now is a tight ends coach for the Tar Heels, didn't directly deny the reports. Kitchens said that he might be getting too much credit, but then things got a little interesting when reporter followed with, "We have to ask." And Kitchens replied, "Oh, I got you. We can definitely tell," before he catches himself almost insinuating the reports were indeed true. Nothing beats college football. For Around the SEC, I'm Ronell Foreman.
And thanks, Ronell. What about your game day forecast? Let's check in with WVUA 23 Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott.
Hey, Gary, those local high school football games wrapping up. Temperatures tonight turning nice. We'll be in the 60s across all of central Alabama. And heading into game day on Saturday, locally, got some fantastic weather. Light north breeze, mostly sunny. Will stay in the 80s all day. I want to show you the Auburn game. Auburn taking on California in Berkeley. It's going to be an away game, traveling across the country. Late kickoff, 9:30, 69 there. Now, that's Central Time Zone. And then the final whistle for the Auburn game at 66 over in Berkeley. Alabama taking on the Longhorns at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Longhorns in town, and we got a 6 p.m. kickoff at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Temperatures will be generally in those mid-80s. Look for plenty of sunshine throughout the day. So if you're going to be tailgating, we are looking at those upper 80s around 3 o'clock, that peak heating hour. Then final whistle at Bryant-Denny Stadium at around 76. That is your forecast update. Have a great day and roll Tide.
Thank you, Richard. Some football weather for early September. All right, that is going to do it for this edition of Football Friday. Let me thank all of our great sponsors, our presenting sponsor, Alabama Credit Union, DCH for the game of the week, our Bank First Scoreboard. Our cheerleaders are brought to you by Pool and Patio, and, of course, Outside the Huddle by Premier Service Company. We are going to be live, or not live tomorrow night, but I'm going to have an update tomorrow night at WVUA23.com when the game is over. Post-game analysis coming up tomorrow night following Alabama and Texas. All right, it's going to be a heck of a weekend. We're going to take you out with some video and a look at some of the people that make this show possible. Enjoy your Friday night and then get ready for a great football weekend, everybody. And remember, roll Tide.